welcome to a special edition of The Rich Dawn, where eternal beatitude begins in this life. I'm Kyle Dean, and to my left, I have back with us Pat Wazinski, and to my immediate right, Matt Hines. First time on this show, and then to his right, Francis Beck, returning member as well. Gentlemen, how are you tonight?
Doing great, thanks, Kyle. Nice to be here. Nice
Yes.
to be here for the first time.
Oh yeah, we gotta make sure we got the mic with whoever's gonna use it. So we're going impromptu tonight. We just got two mics on here. We're gonna share because we just returned from going out into the community via the Dynamis Western New York ministry, a ministry that we've all been a part of for a number of years now. Just growing in faith and fellowship, equal parts joy for our Catholic faith and equal parts seriousness about the faith. But as of this recording, this is Gaudete week, emphasis on the joy. So we just did some caroling in our local city in a very busy street, a very well-known street that we won't name, but you can kind of imagine in the middle of the city, people probably aren't as used to seeing carolers out there as maybe they used to. And,
a bar hopping spot of town, and it was we saw a lot of people who weren't expecting to see us, but we saw a lot of smiling faces, and that was great to see.
Oh my goodness, it was exceptional. I mean, how many? Well, I shouldn't ask you because you came halfway through, but how many establishments do you think we hit?
We must have hit at least 12, at least somewhere dozen. Around proper dozen. And funny thing is that we walked right into the place and just started singing. And right then and there, like I'm kind of one of those guys that's kind of shy about doing such a thing. But we walked right in. Somebody once told me that the most beautiful things in life are on the other side of fear. And we walked right in and just started singing Christmas carols, and everybody seemed to enjoy it and the like, and it was just very impressive. That statement is so very true.
Yeah, it was nice to see. I was surprised that people took it in stride as much as they did. Once I arrived, we would walk into a place, and there seemed to be no confusion. People would turn, and we walk in, and it doesn't surprise anybody that we're forming a half circle and start singing. Everybody seemed like they were really caught up in the festivity of the season, even though we were getting some happy holidays wishes instead of Merry Christmas wishes. There's always there's spirit and energy in the season, even if you don't know about Jesus, I guess. So I was very surprised about that. Very pleasantly surprised, though.
A lot of singing along, and we had a good-sized troupe as well. We got some footage. Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. As you can see, we had singles, we had marrieds, we had children. We had what, dozens?
I would say at least 2 dozen.
Yeah, but maybe even close to 3 dozen participants. So, if you can just imagine each establishment, some were bars, some were restaurants, pizzerias, and different shaped establishments, but we were kind of filling that space, like you said, semicircle and all different arrangements. So it was pretty wild time.
And the other thing was, which you led most of these, especially the first one. You just kind of walked in and sang. There was no like, "Hey, I'm bringing in a group. Is it okay if we sing?" You just kind of just went for it and we're gonna sing, and you're right, Pat. You have that little bit of fear, oh, are they gonna not want us here? But it was all smiles. They're like, "Oh, sweet, these people are just showing up. They're gonna sing for us." And, a lot of people had their phones out, this is so cool, so unexpected. And I think that was the best way to do it, was to just kind of walk in and don't even give them really a heads up, just kind of ambush them a little bit.
Yeah, hopefully we helped a couple of people go viral on their socials. If so, you're welcome. And I'm not going to lie, even the first couple, you got to kind of like break into it, you know, like it's, you know, there was brother Michael Zahavich, who is not on this episode, but is in the footage there, also on the Rich Dawn, and myself were kind of like leading the troop. You had some kids lagging along, and it was like, you know, we tried to tell everybody, like, come on, you really gotta fill in here, because we're gonna start. We're not just gonna stand in this establishment and everyone looking at us like, what are you doing? You gotta pack it in your hand. Yeah, it was so awesome. It was so awesome.
Is it even a family outing if the kids aren't lagging or running ahead? If the kids are with the group, like what's wrong with your family if the kids are with the group? You know.
Oh my goodness! I was debating in real time here whether we should mention like the Christmas candles that we.
Oh, certainly. Oh, the kids.
I couldn't believe you're like, yeah, let's just give these 5 and 6 year olds some candles.
You know, some
walk
of this,
into bars. Let's see what happens.
Well, I mean, some forethought that went into all of this, and some of it was just kind of organic. Like, I was picturing. So the way this all started, we had the flyer, and it was all inspired by this Victorian era, beautiful, like public domain painting of, you know, people caroling. There was like a violinist. We tried to get one. We didn't end up getting one, which is fine. But it's cold here. So if you're an actual professional.
Come on. It
Well, I
wasn't
mean,
that
not
cold.
for what we're used to this year, but compared to the rest of the world. And if you're a pro violinist, you're not going to want to bring.
Oh,
your
I
violin
see what
out
you mean. For instance, I thought you meant like
in the
cold for
weather.
walking out there.
No,
Like,
yeah, mind you, well, hopefully you're in the footage somewhere. This is the guy who wears shorts all winter long, talking, of course.
A real tough guy here who was in shorts while we were all out in the cold. But I mean, it's 30 degrees. If you know, anybody can go out in 30 degrees, but going out and singing in 30 degrees is already hard enough. Taking a string instrument out there in 30 degrees when your strings are going to be tuning in and out as you go in and out of a warm business and then back out into the 28, 30 degree night. It's a totally different prospect. So
Yes,
it would have taken a very skilled violinist, I'll say.
yeah, it's probably better not to have that.
yeah, I thought it was better too. Plus, it was more natural. It was our voices, so I thought that was helpful too. It made us look more. I don't want to say amateur is the right word, but more
certainly grassroots.
Yeah, more grassroots.
It's a very Eastern view. It's
Yes.
a very Eastern view of what's best in music.
I love that. I think one of the things that's so exhilarating about it, not to like majorly analyze what we did, but I think it's this like perfect blend of, okay, you know, the world is becoming less and less faithful, less and less interested in religion or spirituality, or maybe you're spiritual but you're not religious, and you know, what would sometimes come off as even like provocative or almost even controversial, like, hey, you're singing Christian hymns. Well, what if people here aren't Christian or whatever? But it's like when you just bring the whole family and you got these little kids and they're so excited, I think it just disarms people. Everyone's just like, okay, look, even if I don't agree with, you know, the message 100%, like I can get on board with the fact that it was just so humane, you know, like, and I think that, I mean, you had people of all walks of life. I don't know if you guys are paying attention, but like, you know, all different walks of life, all shapes and sizes, all different hairstyles and whatever else. And I don't remember seeing anybody that was like super disgruntled, except for that one instance, but
We'll get to that. Believe me, we're gonna do 20 minutes on that alone.
Oh man. It was, I don't know if 20 minutes, if it's worth that, but it was amazing to see people just be open to it. It's just like, you know what, we're just gonna have a good time. It came a lot easier in the bars too.
Yes.
Something about that liquid courage in people, you know?
Yep.
So, what do you think, Pat?
Well,
I'm just gonna kick the mic back to you.
yeah. So what do I think? I mean, I guess all of us have an opportunity out there to use our powerful singing voices sometimes, and tonight we got to do that. And it's amazing because, like I said, sometimes as shy as I am, we all had that opportunity to just go out there and just realize that even though sometimes when you think, oh, I can't sing, sometimes you have that grudge in the back of your mind, like, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. Well, guess what? I just proved to myself that, you can. You can go out there and sing. It's not a big deal. Just hallelujah.
That wasn't even on the carol sheet.
That was perfect.
But it was good.
But yay, so.
Yeah, not quite the right season for that, Pat, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And I think doing it in a group also was very helpful as well. Like, yeah, that'd be hard to do if it were just the four of us. But the fact that we had a group of 24 out there with us, it kind of just, it strengthened numbers as well.
Yeah. So, what was everyone's favorite part?
Yeah, I think I snuck some wrong notes in there, and I don't know that I could be heard. So that's the best part of having a big group. I warmed up after I got going and before some people left. So before I was actually audible in the group, I think I got into the right pitch.
Thank God.
Yeah,
thank God for that.
Thank God for that.
Yeah, thank you for putting in the effort, Brother Matt.
Anyway,
By the way, I might add that's actually Lent, I believe.
Yes.
No, hallelujah.
I believe you're correct.
This is true.
Yeah.
No, you were on base.
Yeah. I was wondering. I always prefer the specifically religiously themed Christmas songs. I think "God Rest You Merry Gentlemen" is probably my favorite, and I recognize that's the more religious songs they're very much less common than the Goodwill to Men style of songs. Things like Silver Bells or or Santa related songs, things like that. But I was very pleasantly surprised that I think Kyle had already said that we could sing a religious song, and even if we're not walking into a church with this, so there's no reason to think that we're walking into a group of exclusively Christians, but everybody's still happy to be present for it, joining in if they know the words. So that was very interesting. I don't know if you want me to stay in order or not, or if I can jump to something that happened later in the night.
Sure.
But we walked up to one establishment where the owner came out and said, "Hey, perfect timing. There are some kids in here who have been singing Christmas songs." And Kyle said something about the kids came to the door, and Kyle said something about we've come to carol, and they said, "Oh, that's perfect." And what song were they singing? Jingle Bell Rock. They said,
Yeah.
"Oh, we've been singing Jingle Bell Rock," and I looked at Kyle like, "Oh, that's not what we were singing at all." But they joined right in. We gave them a couple of song sheets, and they had a
We sure did.
They had more
Here,
energy.
sing what we're
Yeah.
singing.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. O come, O wisdom from on high, who orders all things mightily. To us the path of knowledge show, and teach us in her ways to go. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel.
How about another one while they're out here?
Should we do another
How
one?
about Joy to the World?
Takes the nations through the glories of his righteousness
And wonders of his
and wonders of his love and wonders of his love. Yeah!
they had even more energy than we did. That was awesome.
They
so
did
I
a
was
great job.
I was very pleased about that. It was
And they were
a lot of fun to be
troopers.
out.
I don't even think they were in
Absolutely.
coats.
No.
And they
no,
came out to us that time.
Yeah.
Normally we were kind of like,
Yep.
coming into the establishment so we can just get a little bit of warmth. We all had nice warm beverages before we kicked it off. And by the way, shout out to Father Joe. One of our local Catholic priests here allowed us to meet up with him at his church to kick off the night, and he blessed everybody, and he joined us for part of it. So that was incredible. But yeah, in the instance with the younger women, with the girls, I think they were in high school. They came outside without even having coats on and like hung out with us for a good couple songs. I think they were glad when it was over though, just for the sake of getting back in.
I'm sure.
But
Well, I think that one of the moms was like, "Yeah, you got to show them up a little bit. They think they're caroling, but they don't know what they're doing."
oh, the moms were great. They're like, "Can you please just sync
Show
up
'em
with
how
us
it's
here?
done."
Sync up with us here." You know, no, they did excellent. But that wasn't a singular event either. Like we were walking by, and admittedly, there were a couple of establishments where we're like, "There's like 2 people in there. I don't know if we're gonna do it," you know. But we had one where like you could tell that they were like upset that we like walked past them, and someone was like, "No, we got to go back," and we did. We went back, and they were thrilled. So whether it was a few people or whether it was a restaurant full, it was definitely a lot of joy spread, and evangelizing really.
Glory to God, glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Christ the Lord.
Well, I feel like we left on a cliffhanger earlier, so maybe we'll just dive right into the one moment of controversy. We were getting ready to go to an establishment, and this guy, right as we got to the front entrance, it was, I think there was a bar involved in the establishment, and he's like, no children, you can't have children in a bar. Are you kidding me? And of course we complied, and it wasn't an issue whatsoever. But like, there were these women who I'm pretty sure worked there as well, and they already had their phones out, ready to like put us on whatever, TikTok Live or whatever they were using, and they started like, there was a bit of a back and forth between the business people, and they're like, "No, the kids are welcome. We need them here." And they're like, "No, let them. And he's like, "No, we're not doing this." And we were just like, you know what? Merry Christmas, everybody. We wish you all a really great night. And we just kept going along. But that brought a lot of perspective, I think. You laugh and you just roll with it, but also perspective. I think it was good for the kids to see, like, hey, not everybody's on board for something like this, Mm-hmm. And quite frankly, we were blessed that was the only time that we ran into something like that. Because you never know. You never know in this day and age. Yeah. But it was just a jovial time all the way around. And, that's a part of community leadership right there is, just don't wait around for someone else to do it, because no one's going to do it if everybody's looking at everybody else. Right? Mm-hmm.
Holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace.
And with that, I don't know. Do you guys have any closing remarks or anything that you want to reflect on in terms of the overall status of Western culture or this Advent season that we're wrapping up here?
I think it just shows that, you don't want to be, afraid to, just share a little joy. I think sometimes like we're worried about being canceled or being looked on as like that guy or the religious people or whatever. And sometimes it's just like, it's not that scary once you do it. And I think that, all the fears we have, most of the time they're unfounded. Is that like, people are not going to like what you do. We found even in the more establishments where you might find less religious people, we really didn't get any backlash. And I think they were just maybe blinded for a quick second, or I don't want to say distracted by just the overall joy and cuteness. And, that can be a way to just kind of just, build a little bit of that bridge to kind of, just say, these people are joyful. I wonder why they're joyful. And maybe that'll get someone to think like, man, that was good. Oh, okay, they have a lot of kids. Maybe they're, Christian. Maybe they're religious. Is there a connection there between being religious and being joyful? Who knows? And maybe that goes back to when we talk about the evangelization. I can break it down. There's planting the seed and there's watering the seed. And at the end of the day, we don't really know which we're doing. We just have to water and do the work, and then it's really up to the Lord to decide, to figure out for each individual person receiving whether that's going to be planting or growing. And we'll probably never see, who knows, one of those people could end up totally converting, and we'll probably never know, but it doesn't matter because we did what we were supposed to do.
Yeah, I totally agree. On that same subject, something that I've noticed, just not as though I am some sort of evangelist, but I know I have a couple of friends who, not necessarily through my efforts, but became Catholic at some point in the past few years. And it's very interesting talking to people that basically just, it's so easy to fall away from faith if you are not practicing. Even if you don't have to lose your intellectual belief, but you can easily lose that just physical daily practice, and you fall away even without like being reasoned out of faith. But in the same way, you can be practiced into faith to an extent. So when you have a cultural display like that, it can be very helpful to get people motivated, I guess, in the faith. People can become more serious about their faith. People can start to seriously consider faith where they weren't. People can have their minds changed and just kind of just accessed by joy. They can have their minds changed about faith. But I will say as well, I would have been shocked if we had a bad reception. We had one bad reception because you can't have kids in a bar, but I would have been shocked to have a bad reception anywhere from anybody because of the religious theme of the songs. Even people who are not particularly Christian or people who are not Christian at all, they know it's Jesus' birthday. Like you don't go after somebody on their birthday. It's like hitting a guy with glasses. You don't do that. So I would have been very surprised, even in a very secular age. This is still in its roots, a Christian country. People still recognize why Christmas exists, and I would have been shocked to see anybody take issue with Jesus being recognized on the holiday, and luckily I was not shocked. So, but it was a very pleasant night for all those reasons.
Plus, I imagine, they probably would have, like we saw in the one instance, the people who kind of turned us away a little bit kind of got some flack for it by other people. So,
Look, I am not going to be surprised if they were dating and someone just lost their girlfriend tonight. Because, humility is groundedness in the truth.
Said that at the time, too. It's funny to hear.
No, we had a mom in our group, and she was just like, what did I just witness? Like, I really think that the women who were instinctively kind of going into their own inner mothering role, they were like, no, the children are welcome here. The children are welcome here. Like,
did Christ say something like that?
I think they cared more about like the children's, how it would impact them than, the guy that got accused of being a Scrooge or whatever, the Grinch. But I felt for him. I mean, if he genuinely was following his conscience and felt like he was doing what needed to happen, then again, we complied and there was absolutely no issue. So, but it's just amazing. Sometimes when you just kind of go out there and you don't overthink things, you just do. You can experience human nature, in its raw, true form, and that's something that we strive to do here as a ministry where we're building leaders. And You know, we all are kind of the difference makers, and we want to not just be, you know, spiritually and physically fed, although there's a plenty of that going on over the years in our ministry, but to also feed others, you know, in a wholesome way. And tonight was just a very blessed example of being able to do that. So that was cool.
This is why I like being around you, Kyle, because I get within 30 feet of you when I start hearing a call to action. You know, there's a lot of energy around here. I don't want to cut you off, Pat.
No, yeah, we've been at it for a good long while here.
Yeah.
So
And no, it's all good. It's all good. You're not cutting me off at all. It's all good.
yes. Well, with that, I guess we just want to say thank you all for joining us on the journey over these times as we've had you know, this iteration of the podcast to be able to kind of take you along for the journey in real time as it's happening. And thank you so much for your support throughout 2024. I don't know how many more pieces of content there will be between now and the new year, but I mean, we're kind of wrapping up the Christmas season, and in the Catholic Church, Advent is actually the beginning of the new year. So we're kind of already into the new year here liturgically, but it really all boils down to that anticipation of the Christ child, the light of the world, coming in into time and space to convert our hearts and to transform us into saints. So we wish you a very blessed close to your Advent if you hear this before Christmas, and if not, a very Merry Christmas. You know, the traditional Catholic ancient Christian understanding is that Christmas is not just 12 days long, but actually 40 days long. It's called Christmas Tide. And so it goes from December 25th up until February 2nd, which is the Feast of the Purification of Mary, also the Feast of the Presentation. And that's the 40th and final day of Christmas. So as you prepare for this season, maybe you can think about some of the more traditional rooted ways to celebrate. You know, get those ornaments up and get that little Christ child in the nativity scene, hearkening back to Francis of Assisi. But anticipate. You know, wait until Christmas actually starts. It's not now. Mm-hmm. It's not Thanksgiving or Halloween. You know, when you hear this stuff on the radio, but we're just about there.
Yep. Yeah, this is perhaps a more joyful preparation period than is Lent, but it's still a preparation period, and we're building up our stamina to celebrate. Apparently, for 40 days, I was not. I wasn't aware that I got to celebrate that long. That's terrific. I'm going to put in lots of vacation days at work.
Yes, yeah, we're the family that we get the tree. We don't really decorate it until Christmas or like Christmas Eve, and then we keep it out until February 2nd. So, you know, if it ends up on the curb by then, we're a little later than everybody else, or if you got the artificial one, you know, maybe keep it up a little bit longer for that symbolism, that recognition of the reality, the mysteries, the deeper mysteries behind our faith. Well, without further ado, if you enjoy content like this, we exhort you, please like, subscribe, share. And if you'd like to sign up for some Catholic life coaching, check out therichddawn.com. We'll see you on the other side, and God bless you.
Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gdy się Chrystus rodzi i na świat przychodzi, ciemna noc w jasnościach promienistej brodzi. Aniołowie się radują, pod niebiosy wyśpiewują. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. Aniołowie się radują, pod niebiosy wyśpiewują. Gloria, Gloria, Gloria in excelsis Deo. much, folks. Bravo, bravo.